Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Leilui Nishmat Ruspas Mordechai. Leib Sternberg, Reb Eli, Harav Agoin, Shkoyach. Wow, any additional words describing Shabbos would only ruin it. Yossi Klein, whoa, Shalom Michael. Shalom Aleich, Ikash, stickle hug maybe.
A hug and a gift.
Wow, and a gift.
Look at that.
This is, I know what this is.
You don't know this.
This is Gaiva number 2.
Open it up. Let's see.
He's the Baal Machaber Sefer. Let's see. Oh, wow. I was mechaven. The picture. Wow. Gaiva the sequel. It's an art scroll special. Look at this. It even has the art scroll. It's unbelievable. Scan me. What is this? You can buy it on. Listen. Shmuel Bornstein prepares this shir by first watching mine. AI consults with me when it's stumped. The Panovich Yeshiva brags on its website that I went there. The Safari animals still tell the animals about the time they were lucky enough to meet me. Bekitzer, it gets better and better. What's all this? This oh, Mar B'Koyim is for Lashon Hara and all that stuff. Oh my goodness. What's the real book? Hold on a second. Shkoyach, wow. So it's, ask him, yeah. What? Oh, it fell off. The mic fell off, Taka, when I got up to hug the Baal Machaber Sefer. Hold on, here it is. Thanks for noticing. Wow. Okay, better now? Okay, Shkoyach. Listen to this. Any additional words describing Shabbos would only ruin it. Yossi Klein proved me wrong when I suggested way back that maybe we wait and don't do, and we do the Shabbat Torah every other year. Definitely gives us a glimpse of how very shortly from now, when Mashiach comes, how it look. You had a Shabbos with knitted yarmulkes, struckes, that's the velvet on the Beckett shit, just in case you didn't know. What a gorgeous mix. Maybe Zoicha to accompany us shortly with all his Talmidim, the welcoming Mashiach. Amen. Leib Sternberg. P.S. Attaches a photo confirming the love of Torah of one of the excellent speakers of the Shabbos and a close friend, the famous writer of Nachman. During some of the dancing at the Siyum, can't make the. Instead of dancing, you were learning? Eis lirkoid, veis lilmoid. Oh, look, he's mamish engrossed over there. Oh, it's a video. Video is gewaldig. Chuni Younger, we met about 11 months ago in Tower 41 in Miami Friday night. I attended Yeshir in Shul on 41st Street in Miami that month of Shabbos. Although the pizza was very good, I just didn't stick to the daf at the time. Something in my soul stirred me to get back into it. You hear a boy say, sometimes you tell somebody to join the daf, it does something. It stirs his soul. He might not start that day. And Baruch Hashem, I began in the beginning of Sanhedrin and loving it. I thank Hashem for giving you to us a small suggestion, if I may. When watching the shir, the screen displays the words of the Gemara in the upper left corner. What's the guy's name in New York that does it? I keep on forgetting. I met him finally. There's a guy that stays up till 2, 3 in the morning to put the words on. There are times that I don't have a Gemara in front of me and I actually use that to see the words as you speak them. My suggestion is to have those words in the upper left corner when you're doing Amud Aleph. Then switch to the upper right corner when we're doing Amud Beis. That way, first of all, whenever I come back online and you're watching, I'll know which Amud. Bekitzer. By turning of the daf, it should say, he noticed that it says the name of the daf, perhaps a small version of that can stay there throughout the duration of the shir. It should say what daf we're on. My hope is to be able to in future recall and connect the content and then we learn an actual page number, maybe. These are just my thoughts. You guys know what you're doing. Good luck with everything. Chuni Younger, Cedarhurst, New York. No. We like suggestions. Rabbi Isai, we have an in-house cipher. His name is Shmuel. He's a big Talmud Chacham. And he drew this and check this out. It's a nice piece. Here's a picture of him. If you don't know, I don't know if he comes to the English here.
He came today.
No, he can't. He's Shachris. Oh, here he is. He's here in the back. Shalom Aleichem. Art Stam Gallery, 052-763-3503 is the number. If anybody wants a copy of this, I don't know if he's selling copies. Who knows? Not Stam. He sells, why not? He's here, Yishkoyach, wow. Steve Israeli, good evening. Using the new website to send you an email. Oh, you go to the website, you can send me an email. So this is also one of those emails. I received at least 10 of these, 10. So I'm going to read. I already spoke about it, but I got another one this morning, so I'm going to read it. A good few dapim ago, you said a joke regarding what Yaakov sent Yehuda to Mitzrayim to build a yeshiva since he saw that Yosef was still holding the same sugya 22 years later. And if this is the case, we need a new yeshiva. I was thinking that maybe Yosef is actually doing the Daf Yomi. He's on his third cycle, 22 and a half years later, and holding on the same sugya. I think that can work. No? Shmuel Israeli since Moed Katan Daf Hey. Hi, I love this year. I recently joined full time after winning the raffle. Says Chaim Milstein. He won the raffle. I guess he wasn't part of this year when he won the raffle. Interesting. I was saying over the nasty joke about Yaakov sending Yehuda down to Mitzrayim and setting up a yeshiva since Yosef was holding in the same sugya after 22 years. My friend pointed out that maybe they were learning Daf Yomi and finished 3 cycles of the Daf. Thought you would enjoy. Chaim Milstein. My boy said, this is unbelievable. This car goes into a garage in New York, and the garage thought that the license plate said MDY family on it. Yeah, because it thought this is the license plate. I don't know where the real one is, or maybe he took it off. J.J. Eisenberger, story of Chizuk, the Daf trucker. Shalom Reb Eli. I have some exciting news to share with you and the MDY Chayra. I took your advice and got my Ura Torah mate signed up for the free Gemara. His name is Ari Slater, a trucker based in Houston, Texas. Thanks to your Daf, his journeys across America are no longer lonely. He has you with him, and he absolutely loves your Daf. My Torah mate has now become the Daf trucker. Thank you, Reb Eli. Pictures of his menorah in his truck. Rabbi Yisai, take a look at this. Stopped at some truck stop, and he lit his menorah inside the cab. Unbelievable. So the Chevra yesterday, they dedicated the shir. It's unbelievable. I only chapped this morning. It's an emotional thing. Exactly a year ago, we started the Hebrew shir. Exactly a year ago. It's unbelievable how time flies. It's unbelievable. A full year, 365 days. I'm going to just read one. L'schus the Maggid Shir, who's able to beat the rebound effect of the Ritalin that we take. At 9 o'clock at night, the rebound effect of the Ritalin, he's able to overcome that. The kids and many other nice things that maybe we'll stick into this Gaiva, the sequel. Talking about Mashiach, well, we just had the Melech, okay, whatever. This is what you look like when you become Mashiach. This is bad, really bad. Okay.
The tagline. Tagline is.
May I have gone too far?
Yeah.
There was a guy sent in a picture. He said, "I don't want anybody to see the picture." He said, I can't make this up." He bought this exact chair from the manufacturer with the Leilui Nishmat, with chairmarket.com in the back, and that's how he does the shir in New York every single day. He does the shir on this shir. So that's what you're saying. Maybe you should send him this book. All right. Wow, 7:19, and we're doing the what a day. Refuah, by the way, before I forget, I'm not doing it, but who won over here? This was yesterday. This is yesterday. So if a different name comes out, this is every perek we're doing a raffle. You sign up and you do a raffle. Shmuel Agami, this is from yesterday. So Shmuel Agami, he won a weekend in the north, in a Zimmer. Now, the next perek is going to be finished in 2 days. So you go, you take, at the Siyum, everybody got one of these scratch-it cards. So you take it, you scan it, and you're entered into this raffle. I see a couple hundred people here, at least, were part of it. No, it's Peseda, it's the Torah, it's Givaldi. Refuah Shelaima for Yosef Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. The Masech is sponsored for Atzlacha Berukhin Subagashmias. The Masech is sponsored Larry Cohn in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70. The Masech is sponsored for the unity of the Jewish people. Parnassa for them. Leilui Nishmat Zechariah ben Moshe, Leilui Nishmat Chaya bas Yosef. Leilui Yosef ben Sara. Another one. Parnassa Chodesh. Yosef ben Chaya Sara for parnassa berevach. Amen. Parnassa Chodesh is zechus for our children and tremendous parnassa. Parnassa Chodesh. Leilui Nishmat Yafa bat Simcha Refuah Shelaima Yisrael Yaakov ben Malka. Amen. Parnassa Yoim Yaakov. Wow. Leilui father Shlomo ben Tata bar Moshe Zechron Levracha, Malaga, Spain. Yaakov ben Tata, that's his name. Yaakov ben Tata is dedicating for his father Shlomo ben Tata bar Shmuel. Elliot Hagler, in honor of completing my 5th cycle of the daf, and my cats who just started the daf. My cats. Parnassa Yoim Refuah Shelaima L'chol Chayei Am Yisrael Atzlach and Parnassa. Parnassa Yoim, Sprinzi and Alan Gross, L'zeichen Nishmas, Baruch Eliezer ben Avram David, the Nechama should have an aliyah. Parnassa Shavua, Naftuly Kraus should be zechus for Reb Eli to continue making learning Geshmak, and it's zechus for Siyata Dishmaya, Yiddish Nachas, Shalom Bayis, to enjoy, remember, and teach Torah, parnassa, Refuah and Atzlacha. What? Huh?
Mike cats. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sound like my cats.
It doesn't matter. It's for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not for you. In memory of Simcha and Gittel Stern, lifelong supporters of Torah. The art of the month for zechus for Reb Eli and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. And art of the month in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Rabbi said we have a very long daf, many words. Just to read it could take over an hour. But it's very Geshmak. We're holding 4 lines from the bottom of Amud Beis. Here's a simple question. As we're going to learn that a king is not allowed to have more than 18 wives. What about a regular common person? How many wives is a regular person allowed to have? A king only up to 18. You say 1,000. And he says 2. A lot of people say 2. I don't know where they got 2. As many. Well, no limit.
No limit.
Besides Rebbeinu Gershom. Okay. So, wow. The Olam is mamish on top of these halachas. Nobody failed the test. The answer is as many as you want. A king, eminent domain, could grab land if he needs to get to his orchard or whatever it is. He just goes, he doesn't go around, he goes straight through people's property. Torah Rabbanim. When the kings, yeah, Chav Amud Beis on the bottom, 3 lines from the bottom. When a king, when a country, when Klal Yisrael conquers another country, they take the treasures, and the kings get the treasures. And the rest of the loot is 50-50 with the nation. Amri Omar Le Abayler Avdimi Vamri Lo Leravacha. Abai says, I understand. I can understand the treasures go to the king, Urcha de Milsa. Usually, typically speaking, the treasure contains things that are more like for a king, pieces of gold, silver. What's a regular guy going to do with that? But most of the money and the animals that they loot, where do we see this in the Torah? The Chsiv, Chaf Aleph, Amud Aleph, Vayimshechul Hashem. By the way, Chaf Aleph means 20 daf into Sanhedrin. So if you are at the Shabbaton, that was 20 days ago. That's how fast Daf Yomi goes. And suddenly, we have a big chunk of Sanhedrin behind us. And it was very, very Geshmak so far. Vayimshechul Hashem lenogid uletzadik. Shelaima Melech, they anointed him, lenogid, for prince, uletzadik, and they also anointed a Kohen Gadol. But it says the 2 words together, prince, a king, and a Kohen Gadol together. So that's called the Hekesh. You could compare one concept to the other. Makish nogid letzadik. I can compare a king to a Kohen Gadol. Mat tzadik mechtzaloyu mechtzalechav. Just like when it comes to the lechem upon him, here we have the bread of in the Beis Hamikdash, there's 12 loaves of bread. Yeah, but I'm saying it was mechtzaloyu mechtzalechav. The Gemara just explains where we know it. It was half to the Kohen Gadol, half to the other Kohanim. So too, when it comes to the king, he takes half and half to his brothers. We had the story with Rebbe Kiva. I forgot his name, the one that was Zoicha to Chaya Olam in a minute. It was I forgot his name. Huh? No, not Rebbe. Rebbe said to the guy that became a ger, the Goya told him, the Matruna said, what about the bris? And he jumped on a stone. But the guy said, I want to give everything that I have to Rebbe Kiva and his friends. So the question is, do you take all the friends of Rebbe Kiva and divide it equally? Rebbe Kiva said, no, I'm going to take 50% of everything, and my friends is the other 50. And he learned it from here. It's the same limud. And how do you know that a Kohen Gadol takes half of the breads, six breads, and leaves the rest to his brothers? It says Aaron, Rebbe Kiva and his friends. Aaron and his friends means 50% to Aaron, 50% to his sons. When we were learning Menachos, Levi, Friedman, and I, we went to, what was it, Seitler or something? In the Shomron, we went all the way. The guy has a bakery in his house, and he showed us how to make these breads. What? Seidel. There you go, Seidel. And he tried to make these breads. They were very difficult. They're massive, this thick, and we kneaded it and the whole thing. We helped him. He put it in the oven, and at the end, like, it kind of crumbled apart because it's hard. It's like this thick. How are you gonna? So these are interesting breads. If you look on the bottom over here, you have the 2 spoons of levina, the frankincense. And Aaron gets, let's say, the right side, all the breads, and all the sons, hundreds of them, they have to divide. So we learn to the king as well. He gets half of the loot, and the rest of Klal Yisrael the other half. Says the Mishnah, Lo yarbe lo yinoshim, elo shmoina esrei. A king shouldn't have more than 18 wives. They say that if you had 4 wives and 12 children, you would also be masakin ma'ariv. That's what they say. And then, of course, you have to say the famous, but there's new guys in the shir. This is mamish, one of the most famous things, but they say that a woman who got up from Shiva, she told her husband she learned 2 things. First of all, she learned that Shachris is not 15 minutes, and she also learned that Ma'ariv is not an hour. And whoever that Rosh Marusha is, who told my wife that Friday night's minyan is not 2.5 hours, I'm not moichel them. For years, I've been coming home 2.5 hours after Ma'ariv. I go from person to person. First, I make sure that there's nobody left in shul, that all the schmoozing is finished. And everybody. Then I go to some friends I visit, and then my wife found out that, it's not like that. I guess my kids came home early once or something. Imkain. Oh. So, Rabbi Yehuda Omer Marba Uloi. That was the last, that's it. Lauren, you're never davening for us for the Amud Bli Neder. No, trust me, that's not what the Olam says. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Marba Uloi. Rabbi Yehuda says he's allowed to add as many wives as he wants. Ubavad Shelo Yimsiro, he says, Liboy. As long as they don't take him away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this is the pasuk. B'leyar b'ley noshim. You're not allowed to have more women, more wives. Why? The Torah explains. Because a wife could take you away from Avodas Hashem, she'll introduce Avodah Zara, or whatever it is. I got to get rid of this picture. Sorry. Reb Shimon Omer, afilu achas umesira es liboy. Says Reb Shimon, what do you mean? The Torah says v'lo yaseh levavi. So what has nothing to do with 18? Even one wife who brings it to Avodah Zara, you're not allowed to marry. So why does the Torah say you shouldn't have many wives? So the point is, even if you have 18 wives that are tremendous tzidkonias, like Avigail, you're not allowed to add a 19th. My Chavrusa, after he learned this Mishnah, he had a child right afterwards, and he named her Avigail, because this is the symbol of tzidkus. It doesn't say that afilu like Esther, afilu like Rachel, Rivka. It says Kavigail. For whatever reason, it says Avigail is, if you open up the dictionary, Tzidkanis, it would say Avigail in there. Says the Gemara, the review the Darish time of the Krov, Reb Shimon Loy Darish time of the Krov. The Mishnah tells us the reason why Reb Shimon says, Reb Yehuda says, that there's a problem is because we read the pasuk V'lo Yasser Levavai, and Reb Shimon ignores it. He says, no, it has nothing to do with the reason. It's 18 and that's it. You're not allowed to go past that, even if the reason doesn't apply to you. So you see that Rabbi Yehuda he tries to explain the reasons behind mitzvahs. Reb Shimon lo darish time of the Torah. And over here, Reb Shimon doesn't explain the mitzvahs. As the Gemara of Ibcha Shaminalu, we see throughout Shas that Reb Shimon always goes with the reason, and Reb Yehuda doesn't. And the Gemara goes ahead to bring the famous case where Reb Shimon learns the reason of a mitzvah. Where a boy side that we have recently, that the Gemara says that Reb Shimon learns the reason of the Torah. Where do we have it recently? Huh? No.
Yesterday.
No. Close. Close. 4 days ago. Daf Tez Zayin Amud Beis, all the way in the bottom. The Gemara says Mefurish, 2 lines from the bottom. It says Reb Shimon he the Darish time of the Korah, 2 lines from the bottom. You guys were already like standing up, walking out the room. That's probably what happened. Akol Panim. So it says Mefurish, Reb Shimon Darish's time of the Korah. Says Gemara, the Sanya, where do we see it? So let's see the pasuk. These are the psukim. A person who borrows money and he takes a mashkan, he takes collateral. So it says in the Torah that if you take collateral that has to do with like night clothing, you have to give it back every single night. And then it goes on to say in pasuk Yidzayin, you shouldn't take collateral from a widow, from an almana. Says Reb Shimon, I know the reason. The reason is because we don't want people to assume that you have something to do with this almana. Every night you go to her house and there's something going on there. You go in, you give something. So people are going to start. The rumors are going to start. But that's only if she doesn't have money. If she's wealthy, I'm telling you, you're allowed to take collateral. So that's called darshaning time of the Korah. You think you understand the reason behind the mitzvah, and therefore it does apply. It doesn't apply. There's a difference between a wealthy widow and a poor widow. The reason why is because you have to give her back the beggar every night, and there's going to be bad rumors by your neighbors. What's he saying? Since you took collateral, you must give it back. And you're giving her a bad name by the neighbors. Alma, Reb Yehuda, loy darish time of the Korah. It's the same Reb Yehuda and same Reb Shimon as our Mishnah. The same 2 mandarim. Reb Yehuda says, I don't care what the reason is. You never take collateral from a widow. Reb Shimon darish time of the Korah. Reb Shimon says, no, it depends how wealthy she is. Says Gemara, and over here we say the exact opposite. Reb Shimon is not darishing time of the Korah. But Alma, Reb Yehuda, loy darish time of the Korah. Typically speaking, Reb Yehuda doesn't, and Reb Shimon does. Meshani hacha the mefarish time of the Korah. In the pasuk is the reason. Matam lo yarbele noshim, says the pasuk. Mishum de lo yasir. That a woman has influence over her husband, and since she has influence over her husband, she'll take him to Avodah Zarah. So if the Torah says it specifically, so I'm telling you that's the whole reason. And Shlomo Melech, as we'll see, he said, okay, that's the reason. It doesn't apply to me, and therefore he broke the rule. They say that Biden and his wife, they were driving, they needed to fill up gas. They went into the gas station, and the gas attendant was all excited to see the first lady. He started schmoozing with her, and she was schmoozing back, all things. So Biden says, who's this? She says, oh, there's a guy from high school. So Biden tells her, oh, it's a good thing you didn't marry him, because if you would have married him, you'd have been the wife of a gas attendant. She says, no. If I would have married him, he would have been the president of the United States. Reb Shimon Omelach, the ashpa of a woman, the ashpa. Behind every successful guy, Reb Shimon Omelach, Michti ba'amid arshin in time of the Korah. So Reb Shimon says, typically speaking, we do I darshan the reason in the pasuk. In kein lichtav Korah liyarbelei noshim v'lishtek. If I'm good at figuring out what the reason of the Torah is, so the Torah doesn't have to say the reason in this case. All of a sudden now the Torah says the reason. I can figure it out myself. The reason why you're not supposed to marry many wives is because they'll take you away from Yiddishkeit. So then why does the Torah have to say it? Even one, you can't marry her. So I'm telling you, the pshat is not to say that the pshat is that even if 18 of them are as good as Abigail, you're not allowed to marry a 19th. Very interesting Chofetz Chaim, real quickly. We don't have a lot of time, but I thought it was interesting. The Chofetz Chaim says that there's a medrash that says that the Yud of Lo Yarba went to the Rebbeinu Shalom to complain. That's later on by Shlomo HaMelech. We'll see. He broke the 18. So he went to complain to Hashem that what's going to be with my mitzvah? I have Lo Yarba. So I thought it's a Geshmak difference. The Chofetz Chaim says, why dafka this mitzvah? How come the ches of chaylev of this of lashon hara, the lamed of lashon hara didn't go to complain to the Rebbeinu Shalom? Why dafka the yud of Lo Yarba? So he says beautiful, because Lo Yarba is only one person in an entire generation that keeps the mitzvah. So the mitzvah went to the Rebbeinu Shalom and says nobody's keeping my mitzvah. I have zero. Any other mitzvah, yes, some Klal Yisrael keep, some don't. But there's nothing to complain about. You have 1 million people that are keeping your mitzvah, so there's no point to complain. Over here, it's a Lo Yarba, one person in the whole generation gets to keep it. It just gave me another vantage point of that mitzvah. Says the Gemara, how do you know that a king is allowed to have 18? Where do you get the number 18 from? So, like I explained, the Masechta is full of the stories of Navi. And here's another one, the Chsiv, Vayivaldu leDavid banim bechevron. David HaMelech had children in Hebron. David HaMelech was a king in Hebron for 7.5 years. So, we have to remember Hebron. Okay, Hebron, because we're going to bring this up later. Not Yerushalayim, in Hebron. Who are his wives? We're going to name 6 of his wives. And then we're going to do math. We're going to do times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. One of them was called, his wife was called Achinoyam. She was from Israel. She's Israelis. Umishneyu Kilov. And then we have the famous Kilov, who was such a huge Talmud Chacham. He was able to beat Achitophel, even though Achitophel was David HaMelech's Rebbe. He proved that his father, David, was right in everything he argued with Achitophel. La'avigail, another one of his wives. Eshes Novel HaKarmelit. La'avigail Eshes Novel HaKarmelit. Vashlishi, the third one, Avshalom, famous Avshalom. Ben Macha. Rabbi said besides Nachman Seltzer, who was Macha's other kid, famous child? Huh? No, anybody can answer. Anybody. Who said? Tamar. Very good. What's your name? Gavriel. Tamar. Very, very good, Gavriel. All right? At least one of us learned some Navi. So Macha had Avshalom. Varavi Adoniyah ben. I only know because it's in the Sugya later. The fourth one is Adoniyah. We're going to speak about him also. He wanted to be the king. Remember, he didn't let Shelaima. Ben Chagis. So that's 4. V'chamishi Shfatyo ben Avital. Avital is the 5th. V'ashishi Yisram leEgla Eshes David. David HaMelech had a wife. Her name was Egla. Eila. Oh, very good. Eila Yuldu leDavid b'Chevron. So these are the 6. V'kamei Navi Imat v'Yisifa l'cha Kohena v'Chayena. So when the Navi was giving Musar to David HaMelech on Batsheva, so he said, if you want, I could add like this and like that. Kohena, like you have, v'Chahena. So let's think about it for a second. Like you have now. How many do we have right now? 6. So if you want, I can give you Kohena, 6. And then how many will you have? 12. V'Kohena, and then I could, well, that's the next shot. Kohena, you have 6. V'Kohena, another 6. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is now that you have 6 plus the 6. You have 6 already. I could give you Kohena 6. That's 12. And then another Kohena, I could double what I just gave you and what you have. That's 24. And then I could take the 24 and I can make it 48. How? Because the Vav of V'Kohena is double what the total number of 24, so it's 48. We're at the 18 point. Each Kohen is another 6. The total, you have already 6 wives, and I'm going to give you Kohena another 6. V'Kohen another 6 is 18. Maybe the pshat is 6 more is 12. V'Kohena, and then I double what I just offered you, the total of 12. So double that. V'Kohena esrim v'arba. 12 plus 12 is 24. In fact, there's such a brayso. There's a brayso that says you're not allowed to have more than 24, and that's where you got it from. Here, if you want to see the math, why not? David HaMelech had 6 wives. Kohena, he offered him another 6. So that's the total 12. And then you take the 12 and you say Vikohena, the Vav of Vikohena. So it's another 12. Kohena, what? 12 plus 12 equals 24. And now the Kohena without the Vav, you take the 24 and double that, and total is 48. In fact, it says in the Bryce, I have more than 48 wives. And how come our Tana stopped at 12? At 18, sorry. Another 12 on top of the 6. It says Kohena v'Kohena. Ma Kohena, everybody agrees that the first Kohena only equals 6 kamashis. Avkena basra shis. So Kohena, 6, v'Kohena, and another 6, total of 18. Ask the Gemara, you said you named 6 wives. Michal, you forgot about Michal. Everybody speaks about the whole Musar over there was when he married Bathsheba, but she doesn't count Bichlal because he's saying, in addition to Bathsheba. Michal, so that's 7. Omarav, Egla, Zu, Michal. The name Egla is actually Michal. Egla. Why is her name a calf, Egla? Shechaviva alav ke'Egla. In Yiddish they say Shefala. It's a language of endearment. What? Mamala is okay, one thing, but a lot of people call their wives Shefala. Shefala.
Nobody calls the wife Shefala.
One of my favorite mices. One of my favorite mices. Chaya. There's a couple that went to Switzerland, and they're enjoying the scenery, and the wife looks out the window. She says, "Wow, look at this unbelievable sheep." So the husband says, the vacation had to speak nicely. So he said, "Honey, it's not a sheep, it's a cow, and it's not a window. You're looking in the mirror." No, Egla. So before you write me emails, because I already got the emails. No. Listen. I said the joke and I got some emails. So I changed the joke. I said the husband was looking out the window and he said, "Look at this," and she said, and then no emails. If you say it on the husband, it's fine. The problem is I couldn't say it like that because here Egla is a lashon of endearment to a wife. So I had to keep it in the original. So please don't write any emails. I got it. It's a terrible joke. I'll write myself an email after shir is over. Shimshon says, if you plishtim wouldn't have plowed my egla, my calf, because he told her, the plishtim knew that they could get the secrets of the riddle he gave them. His new wife knew the riddle, so they went to her and they forced her to say it. So he said, I'm not giving you what I promised, because had you not plowed my calf, you wouldn't have known the riddle. In other words, he calls his wife calf. When we have in the Michal Bonei, it says in the pasuk, one of the 6 wives, it says Yisram was the son of Egla, and we said Egla is Michal, but Michal didn't have any kids. She didn't have Yisram. Michal didn't have any children until the day she died. You're right. She didn't have any children until the day she died. But she did give birth on the day she died. Ask the Gemara, but wait a minute, it doesn't fit in. Where did this whole pasuk take place? Like by the wide line, first wide line. It said it's in Hebron, right? When she got punished not to have children, that was later on in Yerushalayim. The Gemara is going to explain why she got punished. Michal is looking out of the window. Vateres HaMelech David, she sees her husband David, the king, mefazez umecharke lefnei Hashem. She sees him jumping up and down and dancing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, vativez, and she was embarrassed. It looked like an embarrassing thing for her. I have here what it looks like. Bizman hazeh, mefazez umecharke. Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, David HaMelech tells her, I'm dancing in the honor of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For the Aron. It's not a bizarre. I'm showing my feelings. You see about the Vilna Gaon that on Simchas Torah he looked like a shikr, like a meshugana. He was dancing with such dveikos. So it's not a busha. But there's one thing that once in a while I need to talk about. I found myself not even so long ago, learning in certain situations, learning in a shul, whatever. A guy comes over, Stefansky. So I felt stupid. What am I? I'm learning here. So no, I'm just studying for a test. I used to tell people I'm learning for a test. Don't worry, I'm not a master. I'm just learning for a test. I think people have a natural busha to do the right thing. I know a guy that a lot of litzonas during davening, a lot of the whole shul here. I went to his house once to speak to him. I said, listen, it's not beseder. And he told me a crazy thing. He says, I have a reputation. I'm the clown of the shul. I'm the let's. People expect me to say a good joke during davening. No, be'emes, he has a busha to stop talking. What people are going to say? You're a tzaddik. Tzaddik. Oh, what a tzaddik. For that one day, his whole life is going to continue as I. People don't. You can tell somebody, no, I don't talk during Kaddish. Look who this big tzaddik. From the busha, think about it. People have a busha to do the right thing. I think it's terrible. I have it myself, but it's a terrible thing to have. You should overcome it because that busha only lasts. You're right. It's embarrassing. 1 or 2 days. So, right, Benny? Didn't you tell me something like that? No, I'm not. I'm thinking out loud. All of a sudden you stop talking. It's like, what, you? The biggest talking show, you stop talking? Yes.
Yes, so it comes from everybody else that they tease them for that.
And you know what happens when you tease? Look what happened to Michal. Michal teased her husband, and she didn't have kids. It's a terrible, terrible thing. What?
She gave him mussar.
She gave him mussar, okay.
It wasn't teasing, it was different.
Okay, you're right. Fine. Akoponim, I think everybody can take a little mussar from this, that there'll be a point in what I'm the guy that's going to open up and do Daf Yomi when I'm waiting between the chup and the this. What, you became the big tzaddik? Yes. Yeah. And you'll get used to it. Don't worry. 1 day, 2 days, that's it. Nobody's going to make fun of you in a month from now. For the first day, okay, so somebody will say a nice, good Geshmak shtak. But for that shtak, you're not going to do what you think is right. V'amar Rav Yehuda v'temer Rav Yosef. Shekalta Michal limitrafso. Michal got what they had to pay her for chet, says Rashi. Piroi nachayv, piroi nachet. Elohim adaysa ma'isa hayala. No, so we could say the pshat is she had children until that point. The Gemara asks, it happened in Yerushalayim, not in Chevron. Why didn't you have kids until Chevron? That story happened way later in Yerushalayim when he was already king of all Klal Yisrael. Mikam ve'elach loy hayala. Okay, she had children until that story of the window when she said something to David HaMelech. Mikam ve'elach loy hayala. V'ksiv ve'ikach David oy pilak shev'noshim Yerushalayim. Another question. You're telling me that a king could only have 18, so why did David take more concubines and wives? To get to 18. What's the difference between a wife and a pilegesh? A wife has a ksuba and she has regular kiddushin. Pilakshim beloy ksuba or beloy kiddushin. And a pilegesh doesn't get a ksuba and she also doesn't have kiddushin. They say, Rashi says somewhere else that you're not goyers beloy kiddushin. There is a kiddushin for pilegesh, but she just doesn't get a ksuba. So I looked around in the Rishonim. The Rambam is super against having a pilegesh, bizman hazeh. I think there was a guy in Lakewood that he wanted a pilegesh, I think, or whatever the reason was, but he wrote a whole sefer that you could have a pilegesh, bizman hazeh. It's controversial. I myself couldn't find, yesterday I was looking, I couldn't really find Rishonim. Somebody just today sent me a whole Mar Mekaymas about pilegesh, Rav Simon from that shul over there that we used to daven in. What's his name? He said, Oiv Yisrael, Rav Simon. He just sent me this morning. I didn't have a chance to look at all the but it's more than controversial. If you go with the Rambam, it's definitely usher that pilegesh is only for a king. V'chulu v'chulu. Omer Rav Yud Omer Rav. Arba meis yiladim hoyloi David. David HaMelech had 400 children. Now, Kipshutei means he had 400 children, but Rashi explains in another Masechta that it means he adopted the 400 children. Mekulam b'nei Yifas toyer hoyu. David HaMelech wasn't megayer them. They were all the children of women of Yifas Torah. Yifas Torah is a woman you see at war. If it was a Mechemes Mitzvah, you have the right. There's a whole process. It says in Kiseitze, you take her home, she has to be there for 30 days, she has to grow her nails, shave her entire head, she has to be misabel on her parents, megayer her. So, umegadli blurius are you. So one pshat in blurius, the pshat what we go with usually is this is a blurius to have hair in the back, just in the back, shaved everywhere. They were megayer. So these 400 had blurius like this. The kulan yosher mikroinish zav, they had golden wagons. Umahalchim barashi giyosis hayu, and they were like the generals. Veheim hayu bali egroivim, they were the strong men. Shal Beis David. V'omer Rav Yudom Rav, Tamar bas Yifas Toyer haisa. Tamar, the famous Tamar, was the outcome of Yifas Toyer. She's the daughter of Yifas Toyer. Shenemar ve'ato daberno ala melech kilo yibno eni mimeka. The story is as follows. This is David HaMelech. David HaMelech had more than 2 wives, but there are 2 of them, Macha and Achinoyam. We said Macha had at least 2 children we know of. Yeah, she had Avshalom and Tamar. Achinoyam, a woman, had Amnon. So it comes out that Tamar and Amnon were brother and sister from the same father. They had different mothers, but they had the same father. Now, Amnon wanted to marry Tamar. So, as the Gemara is going to say in a second, his friend gave him an idea: pretend that you're sick, and have Tamar make you a meal, and then you'll grab her. So, when he grabbed her, she said, "Why are you doing this like this? Why are you being physical? Let's go to David HaMelech. Let's go to the king, and let's make a normal shidduch. I'll marry you normally, normal. Let's go to our father. Let's go to our father, and let's make a shidduch." That means that she understood she can marry Amnon. Halachically, she can marry him. She's not trying to fool him. He's not a fool. You can't marry your sister. Oh, you could marry your sister. So what's pshat? How could Tamar marry Amnon? The answer is, it must be that Tamar is the daughter of Macha, who is a Yefas Toyar. David took Macha as a Yefas Toyar. And she's not 100% Jewish. There's not a full Gerus. And if there's no full Gerus, then the daughter, Tamar, is not considered David HaMelech's daughter. We know that a ger is kekatan shenoy ladami, so Amnon can marry Tamar. That's the only way to explain it. How can you explain that a brother can marry a sister? So Rashi asks a bomb kasha. There's a machlokes whether you're allowed to have relations one time at the war before you bring the Yefas Toyer home. So it seems from over here that David HaMelech had relations with Macha at the war, before he brought her home, before he made her Geiris. Because if he brought her home and made her Geiris, then she's 100% Amnon's sister. So you see like that Shita, that there's a way, yes, to have relations. Says Rashi, very important Rashi, so he says like this, Tamar, achayz of Shalom Bayis Yifas Toyer haisa, koydim shenis gaira belev Shalom. There was a Geirus. David forced her to become a Geiris, but she didn't agree to it. You could force somebody to be a Ger from today to tomorrow, but Geirus is in the head. She said, "Fine, I'll take the Geirus," but inside she said, "I'm not Jewish." So Macha ima yodel David as Tamar va'isa eslo b'toras Yifas Toyer. That's the pshat. According to that shita that you're not allowed to have relations, so the pshat is he didn't. He made her a Geiris, but since she didn't accept it fully, the kid is still, Tamar is still considered a Goya, or not related to Amnon. So says the Gemara, continuation of the story. There was a friend, Amnon had a friend, what? How would a sister be allowed to him? Tamar was the daughter of Yifas Toyer. Amnon had a friend. He's very smart. He's very smart in doing rishas. Pretend that you're sick. She made him something. She fried up some latkes, some schnitzel, and then he grabbed her. Says the Gemara, but right after the Maisa, he thought he wanted to marry her, but then he did a Maisa, and then he hated her. Tremendous hatred. My timer, a hair was tied over there, and it made him a saris. Why would he hate her? What did she do to him? She did it on purpose. She's the one that caused him this terrible injury. And she caused him to be a krushavcha. You'll have a name in all the nations of your beauty. The Jewish women, they don't have any body hair. So how in the world did she have a hair to tie over there? Shani Tamar the Basifas Toyar. Tamar was the daughter of Yifas Toyar. This special thing that a Jewish woman has didn't apply to Tamar. But after the Churban Abayis, then all of Klal Yisrael, they became like the Goyim, they have body hair. So you think that a woman that something like this, she was violated, she would keep it a secret, not go to the police, not file a complaint? No. She let the whole world know. We have also in our generation, we have certain things that used to be Klal Yisrael used to hide, and now they said, no, you have to come out barabim and make sure it doesn't happen. And this is something similar. She wanted to make it together. She wanted to make sure that it doesn't happen, this same thing doesn't happen to somebody else. So you got to tell people about it. People would say, if this tragedy could happen to the daughter of a king, so it certainly could happen to anybody. And she was such a tznuah, leprutzois, certainly to a woman who's not so careful. He said you're not allowed to have yichud with a married woman, and you're not allowed to have relations with a single woman. Says the Gemara, yichud deraisu. What do you mean? That you can't be in the same room, you yourself, with one woman, two women? That's midiraisa. Remez liyichud me'ator menayin. How do you see a hint to this isser of yichud? Shenemar ki yisischa achicha benimecha. That if you marry into the Goyim, so then your brother, the son of your mother, he'll try to, again, like the Yosef, he'll take you to Avodah Zara. So the Gemara asks, if he ben a meses, ben av, any meses, what only a brother from a mother will try to steer you off the way, and not a brother from a father. I would think that it's not so applicable to a brother from a mother, because you don't really hang out in your mother's house. Why? Because you're not allowed to have yichud with a mother. So the Torah is telling you, no, it's very applicable. Why? That you're allowed to have yichud with your own mother. Who else are you allowed to have yichud with? Your own daughter, your sister. But you see from here, that's only because beni mecha. You're allowed to have yichud with your mother, but you're not allowed to have yichud with all that rights in the Torah. So it can't be that's when the gzeira of yichud happened. It's in the Torah, you're not allowed to have yichud. You're not allowed to have yichud with a single woman. From that day on, they became an isser of yichud. David HaMelech, they made a heter for David HaMelech, but in general, you're not allowed to have yichud with a single woman. Where, in our days, is there a little bit of an issue sometimes with yichud? With a cleaning lady. Sometimes you get stuck in the house with a cleaning lady. Babysitters with older boys could be an issue. And what? Secretaries. Driving on empty roads at night with taxis. Let's say you take a taxi from Shelaima to Bet Shemesh. It's not pasha, but ayin sham. What?
Yeah, okay. That's a real shayla.
Yeah. Sponsors, turning to the Daf Teves, Berkovici family, in honor of them, the White Daf champions, Leo, Shamshi Shlafrak, Uncle Freddie, Mr. Gross, and Refuah Shleima for our fearless leader in chief, Chaim Gabriel Ben Tzivia Lana, by the members of the Muncie Fire Department, and by Yaakov Citron Films, Strategic Video Productions. Adoniya says, I don't want Shlomo Melech to be the king, I want to be king. Beautiful, check this out. If you were available to be a king, you had a little bit of a dent in your head. I'm thinking it went from back to front, like the two sides of the brain, a little bit of a dent. And if you look closely, in the crown, there's a little bit of a pole over there that didn't allow the crown to sit nicely in your head unless it fit into that dent. So Adoniya tried to put on the crown, and it didn't fit.
This crown fits perfect.
Wow. AI is unbelievable. Well, it takes hours to put something together like this, but yeah. So Zok the Gemara, I just thought it reminded me of I don't know why it's stuck in my head. I think I said it 3 times in the last week with the Olam. I don't even want to say his name. By Simpson case, his lawyer got up there and says, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. And so it has to be homoi. And then I just can never get over these pictures. To me, it looks like it fits beautifully. And he said, look, it doesn't fit. The mamish doesn't fit. Look. And they acquitted him for murder, even though he admitted that he murdered. It's a crazy world. Olam hafuch. If you don't, it has to fit. Adoniah decided, okay, I'm gonna make a chariot, and I'm gonna have people run in front of me. I'm gonna have gabayim like the Rebbes. And 50 people are running from him. My Rebuso, big deal. He's the son of a king, so he has 50 people. A lot of princes have 50. They didn't have spleens. They got rid of their spleen with medicine. They were great runners. They didn't have spleens, so they were able to run quicker. And also they cut off the bottom of the soles. They took off the flesh, whatever, so they could run on top of thorns. The kids are fast runners. Whatever they did, crazy stuff they used to do in those days. Says the Mishnah. A king cannot have many. Anybody want to take a guess of how many horses Shlomo Melech had? Over 100. Yeah, way over 100. What? More than 18,000.
180,000.
More than, it's not a machlokes, it's psukim. It says in the pasuk, it's not even an exaggeration according to the psukim. 160 million. And he shouldn't. It sounds crazy. But as I state, the Gemara is going to say, V'kesef, but there's no exaggeration in pasuk. That's the thing. V'kesef zav lo yar b'lo moed. He's not allowed to have a lot of gold and silver. Elo kadei lita in Espana just to pay his workers, his salaries. Because of Sefer Torah Shemaya, and he must write a Sefer Torah in honor of himself. Yoitzel Melchama Moitzia Imay, and he takes the Sefer Torah to war. Nichnasu Machnis Imay, brings it back. Yosef Bedin, if he sits in a, they say, if he sits in a Taisis Daf Yomi Amud Aleph says that it's talking about a court case of Mominus, so he's allowed to sit in such a court case. Yosef Bedin, he Imay, the Sefer Torah is with him. Mesevu Ikenegdai, he sits, it's in front of him. Shenemar V'hoyse Imay, V'karboy Koyimei Chayav, he should read from the Torah his entire life. Torah Rabbana. Lo yar b'lo susim, you shouldn't have many horses. Maybe it means you should have any horses, even for his chariots and everything. Loy, private. Loy marbu k'dei richba u'farashav. He's allowed to have a lot of horses for his chariots and for his army. Hamani mikayim susim. Why does it say it should? So look at the pasuk a second. It says in the pasuk 2 things. Lo yar b'lo susim, plural. It also says sus. Susim habatlanim. Okay? Horses that are leidegeirs, batlanim. I don't know how to say it in English, but it's a good word. Anybody that doesn't do the daf is a sus batlan. Menayin shafilu sus echad vu batal shu b'lo yarba. How do you know? What? A bum. How do you know? A bum horse. Sus echad vu batal shu b'lo yarba. How do you know if you have one horse, you also over in the scissor? Tamadoi mar leman harba sus. One. Single. If you over even on one, susim, why does the Torah say plural? So you have 160 million horses, you're in big trouble. So you tell me, the Torah says loy, I think the king shouldn't have horses for his chariot. How could that be? A king needs to protect himself. He has to have an army, he has to have tanks, he has to have horses. So pay attention. The Torah is telling us that he's permitted to have reserve. That's what the Torah is saying with the word loy. Let's say he needs 10,000 horses. He's allowed to have 15,000 in case some go down and they're in the shop. He's allowed to have reserves. He's not allowed to have too much money. Same kind of sugya. Maybe he shouldn't have enough to pay his salaries. Privately, he's not allowed to have. They ask, so how does Shlomo have so much wealth if he's not allowed to take? They say because it came from gifts. Gifts is okay. It's the same kind of question. Only because the Torah said loy. It doesn't make sense. He shouldn't have enough money to pay salaries. Why not? How is he going to pay salaries? Once again, it's mutter to him to have money in reserve, gold and silver in reserve. The word loy comes to tell us that he's allowed to have extra. Loy yarba, loy nashim. What's he's allowed to have extra wives? My dash is, what are you going to do? Yes. And so here's the halacha, Rabbi said. a simple person is permitted to have more than 18 wives. Only a king has to stop at 18. Rav Yehuda Rami. Rav Yehuda has the contradiction. Ksiv Yechiel Moshe Aleph urvay susim l'merkavtoi. Shlomo HaMelech had 40,000 stalls of horses. And then it says they had 4,000. These are stalls. Okay, it's not. If he had 40,000 stables, each one of the 40,000 stables had 4,000 stalls. It goes something like this. If you want to see somewhat of a, here we go. 40,000 times 4,000 is 160 million. It's a lot of other things also, a lot of manure. So it depends. It ends up the same number. If you had 4,000 stables, so each stable had 40,000.
Just the space.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to understand. Very hard to understand. I don't claim to understand it. The contradiction. Silver wasn't considered anything in the time of Shelaima. It was considered at least like a stone. So says the Gemara, before the sin, so he had so much silver, it was worthless. After he married her, then it was worth like stones. When Shlomo HaMelech married Pari's daughter, Yored Gavriel v'not Konabayam. We have a picture of this also. Check this out. Gavriel put one reed in the middle of the ocean, and a bunch of dirt gathered around it, and eventually it became Rome. Not Rome, but a giant island. And these people from Rome, what happened? They came and they killed Klal Yisrael. So I think maybe you could say, anytime you do an Aveira, it starts out at a little small Aveira. If you don't take care of it, you don't get rid of it, you don't do tshuva, so it keeps on growing. And at the end, that Aveira itself comes and that's your downfall. It comes and gets you. He put one little stick.
Beachhead. He set up a beachhead, and from there he took over.
Okay, but that itself took it. Okay. How come there's no reasons in Torah? Just recently, I had the opportunity to speak to a young couple. We want to keep the Torah, but we need to understand. So the Torah is not to be. We keep what we understand. We don't keep what we don't understand. The Torah doesn't give us the reasons. Rashi says, for instance, the Torah doesn't say chazer. Explain why we don't wear shatnas. The Torah doesn't explain. Why? For when the Torah did tell us in two places what the reason is, the greatest human being, the smartest person that ever lived, he stumbled on it. The ksiv. Shouldn't have many wives. I'm so smart. I know how not to fall. The whole reason is not to fall to the wife and let her trick you into avodah zarah. And it says, you're right. It worked until he got older. But once he got older, he fell. The Gemara says in Shabbos that whoever says Shlomo HaMelech chata in a letoya, okay, we have to understand. Shouldn't have many horses. What was the whole point? It says in the pasuk here, Parashat B'Shalach, Perek Yudal, pasuk Gimel, is it to go back to Mitzrayim? Where do you get a good horse? You have to go to Mitzrayim. So he says, I'll get the horses without going to Mitzrayim. But at the end he fell to that also. I don't know what to do here. I mean, it's another. Let's go over. Let's just go. We'll have to go over 2 minutes here. Because of Sefer Torah L'Shmai, a king writes a Sefer Torah. Tana ubavad shaloi yisna b'shalav v'yisav. He shouldn't use his father just because he got a Yerusha. You have a chiyuv to write your own Sefer Torah. My father was a tremendous Talmud Chacham, learns all day and night. Since I'm a very young child, the only way I remember him, he learns with talis and tefillin on his head. And just 10 years ago, he started learning with the Sefer Torah also. He has the entire day he learns by himself in a room with the Sefer Torah. So he's a real gronik. So, but I can't take his Sefer Torah and say, I'm Yoitza. By the way, message to everybody, whoever thought, because people came to me, we want to buy you a Sefer Torah. No, do not buy me a Sefer Torah. This is good. Things like this is Geshmak, or like this is good. but no Sefer Torah. Why? Because I want to be yoytz to the mitzvah of Sefer Torah. I have to buy it myself. I have to write it myself. That's it. If you write, it's not going to do me any good buying Sefer Torah, so don't even think about it. When after I get to the Sefer Torah, then we'll talk about the kessers. Oh, for here, fine. So, but no, I don't like kessers with the whole thing. Not a good idea. So says the Gemara. Omarova. Even though your father left you Sefer Torah, there's a mitzvah to write it yourself. Shenemar ve'ato kisvulochem. Next time. It says Shira Azois. There's a mitzvah for you to write Hazinu, but it means the entire Torah. Eis ve'abaya. Because of the Sefer Torah l'shmoi shloi yisna b'shal acherim. Melchin had Yidloi. L'tzricha says the Gemara Shei Torah. The king had 2 Torahs. The Kisanya, because of Loi es mishnei, the second one. Because of Shmoi, shtei Torahs. Achash Yosef and Chasimoi. One that he takes in and out wherever he goes. V'achash u'menachas le'bivik lazav. One stays in the Aron Kodesh. Oisa Yosef and Chasimoi. That one Oisa kimin kamei v'Torah l'Bizraya. Here there's a tiny little Sefer Torah that this is my father's size also. Kanetsky had one. Shenema Shavisi Hashem le'negtomik kimin mini ba'lemon. And in nichnas ba le'lebeis ha'mechatz v'lebeis ha'kisei. Shouldn't go into there's a havamina. They could go into the base. Should always hold it. The king should always hold it. Maybe you go into the bathroom with it. No, you don't go into the bathroom with it. Shenemar boy zeimai v'karaboy makamaroy likrois boy. Only in a place. By the way, real quickly, because it's very important. There's a famous Rosh that says that in our generation you should write Svarim, Gemaras, because that's what we learn from. The whole point is to learn. We're not learning how to Sefer Torah. What do? You donate $100,000 Sefer Torah. Where does it go? To a shul and you'll never look at it. That's not the chiyuv. The chiyuv is to learn from the Sefer. So there's a whole machlokes between the Taz and other achronim and this and with the Rishonim. Did he mean that you still have a chiyuv to write a Sefer Torah, but you should also write Svarim? The bottom line is that we should. They say you should write a Sefer Torah. There is a chiyuv to write a Sefer Torah. They want to prove from here. Look, mefurish. Even though you got a Sefer Torah from your father, and so the problem is not the learning. You still have a chiyuv to write another one. Rabbi said, check it out. Have a wonderful day.